There comes a moment in every dynasty when the mirror stops lying. When the men who built something extraordinary have to look at what's left and admit, quietly, to themselves and to each other, that the story is changing. For the Golden State Warriors, that moment has arrived, and it didn't come with a press conference or a dramatic announcement. It came in whispers, in interviews, in the kind of honesty that only surfaces when pretending is no longer an option. Steph Curry knows it. Draymond Green knows it. Steve Kerr knows it. Three men who built one of the greatest dynasties basketball has ever seen, who turned a franchise once considered a punchline into a symbol of dominance, are now facing a truth they never wanted to say out loud. They are no longer title contenders. Not this year. Maybe not ever again. Together. This isn't speculation. This isn't a hot take from an outsider looking to stir controversy. This came from inside the walls of the organization, delivered through reporting that peeled back the curtain on what's really being said behind closed doors. San Francisco Standard reporter Danny Emmerman laid it out in stark terms. Curry, Draymond, and Kerr all understand the deal. They understand where they stand, and it's not a place any of them imagined they'd be. But here's what makes this moment so gripping, so quietly devastating. It's not resignation. It's not surrender. According to Emmerman, this isn't a group that's simply okay with fading into irrelevance. This is a group faced with a reality they can't outrun, choosing instead to redefine what winning even means at this stage of their journey. Going out together, playing with dignity, competing hard, night after night, even when the ceiling on what's possible has clearly lowered. That's the new mission. Not championships, not banners, just the relentless pursuit of doing things the right way, for as long as they still have the chance to do it as one. Think about the weight of that shift. For over a decade, this core has walked into every season with a single, unshakable goal: win it all. Anything less was failure. That was the standard they built, the standard they demanded of themselves and of everyone around them. And now, for the first time in this era, that standard has quietly been replaced by something else entirely. Something more human, more vulnerable. They've been vocal, Emmerman explained, about refusing to mortgage the future. But even that phrase carries a tension worth unpacking, because their definition of it doesn't necessarily match what others inside or outside the organization believe. Some might interpret not mortgaging the future as holding on to assets, waiting for the right opportunity. But for Curry, Draymond, and Kerr, it seems to mean something different. Playing hard, competing with everything they have left, and accepting the outcome, whatever it turns out to be. This is where the suspense of this story truly builds. Because this isn't a team that collapsed overnight. This is a franchise standing at the edge of a cliff they saw coming from a long way off. Rewind to last season. A nightmare stretch defined by devastation. Jimmy Butler going down with a torn ACL, a season already teetering on the edge, and ultimately, a failure to even reach the playoffs. For an organization that had become synonymous with postseason success, missing the playoffs altogether was more than a disappointment. It was a warning sign. A crack in the foundation that everyone could see, even if no one wanted to say it out loud. And so this offseason was supposed to be different. This was supposed to be the reset. The reload. The moment where the front office stepped in and gave this aging core one more real shot at contention. Fans held their breath as rumors swirled. Giannis Antetokounmpo's name surfacing in trade speculation, Kawhi Leonard's, even LeBron James's. Each name representing a flicker of hope, a signal that maybe, just maybe, the front office understood the urgency of the moment. But then, silence. No blockbuster trade. No major addition. Just the 11th overall pick, Yaxel Lendeborg, brought in as the lone new face. Everyone else? The same roster running it back for another year. Al Horford, Kristaps Porzingis, DeAnthony Melton, Charles Bassey. Familiar names, steady contributors, but not the difference makers this team needed to leap back into true championship contention. Imagine being Steph Curry in that moment, watching the offseason unfold, waiting for reinforcements that never arrived, knowing that the championship window that once felt limitless is now closing, inch by inch, with every passing year. Imagine being Draymond Green, the heartbeat of this dynasty, the emotional engine that pushed this team through every battle, now having to accept that sheer will and intensity alone can't manufacture a title anymore. Imagine being Steve Kerr, the architect of some of the most beautiful basketball ever played, now tasked with coaching a team whose primary goal isn't a championship, but survival with pride intact. This is the brutal reality Man exposed, not a franchise in denial, but a franchise in transition, clinging to the values that made them great even as the results that once defined them start to slip further out of reach. And here's the twist that makes this story even more compelling. This isn't the end. Not yet. This is the middle chapter of a much longer story, a story of legends choosing dignity over desperation, choosing effort over excuses, choosing to compete every single night even when the scoreboard of championships may never tilt in their favor again. Because dynasties don't die all at once. They fade, slowly, gracefully, or painfully, depending on how the final chapters are written. And right now, Golden State is writing theirs in real time, with three men who reshaped basketball history refusing to go quietly, even as the odds stack higher against them with every passing season. So, as this new season unfolds, the question isn't whether the Warriors will win a championship. That answer, according to those inside the organization, is already understood. The real question is this: how will this era end? With bitterness, or with the same class and competitive fire that defined it from the very beginning? One thing is certain: Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Steve Kerr aren't ready to fade quietly into history. And whatever happens next, the entire basketball world will be watching every step of the way.